There's a certain warmth that settles over you when you think about growing up in Britain during simpler times. Days when childhood felt endless, summers felt brighter, and the world seemed small enough for every corner to feel familiar. No buzzing phones, no screens stealing our attention. Just the pure freedom of being young in a country finding its way through change. The smell of freshly cut grass, the sound of children tearing down quiet streets, and the gentle rhythm of everyday life shaped memories we still hold close. It was a time of innocence, of imagination, of making your own fun because there was no technology to do it for you. If you experience this era, these 10 things will bring it all flooding back. Point 1. The milkman and the morning ritual. For any British child growing up in the 60s, the day didn't begin with a screen or an alarm clock. It began with the unmistakable rattle of glass bottles on the doorstep. The milkman was as familiar as a family friend, appearing in the soft glow of dawn with his electric float humming down the street. Children would peek through lace curtains or stand barefoot in the hallway, listening for that clink of bottles that signaled the morning had officially begun. And of course, the real treat was the foil tops. Many kids rushed to claim the bottle with the perfect dome of cream settled at the top, especially before the blue tits poked holes through the foil to get their share. It was a small ritual, but one woven deeply into the rhythm of British life. A daily reminder of a community where everyone knew each other, and where even something as simple as the milk delivery felt like a comforting tradition. Point 2. Saturday morning pictures. Ask any 60s kid about their weekends, and you'll unlock a memory filled with excitement, chatter, and the smell of the local cinema foyer. Saturday morning pictures was a highlight of childhood. A few precious hours where you and your friends could escape into a world of cowboys, cliffhangers, and black and white heroes. It cost just a few pennies, and yet it felt like stepping into pure magic. Kids filled the aisles, cheering the good guys, booing the villains, and sharing sherbet fountains and the occasional packet of Spangles. The ushers tried their best to keep order, but part of the charm was the chaos. The sense that this was your time, your space, your world to get lost in. Long before streaming and instant entertainment, these mornings felt like a weekly adventure that carried you right back into the playground on Monday with stories to retell and favorite scenes to act out. Point 3. Proper school discipline. School in the 60s was a very different world from today. Stricter, sharper, and governed by rules that shaped the character of a generation. British children of the era will remember the smell of chalk dust clinging to the air, the echo of wooden-soled shoes down long corridors, and teachers who seemed to command respect just by clearing their throat. The blackboard was the center of learning, and the exercise book was the heart of every lesson. Children sat in rows, ink wells to the side, trying their best to avoid blotting their handwriting or catching the stern eye of the teacher. Detention meant real consequences, and getting sent to the headmaster's office could ruin your entire day. Yet, despite the strictness, or perhaps because of it, there was a sense of order and purpose. You felt part of something, learning the rules of life as much as the lessons written on the board. Looking back, it was tough at times, but unforgettable. Point 4. Playing outside until the streetlights came on. Before children had computers or endless channels on television, the outdoors was your playground. And for a 60s kid in Britain, that playground was limitless. You'd grab your coat, shout a quick, "I'm going out," and disappear for hours without anyone worrying. The streets were filled with the sound of clattering footballs, chalk scraping hopscotch squares on the pavement, and the laughter of children racing their friends on battered bicycles. You created entire worlds from nothing, imaginary kingdoms in the local woods, adventures along the railway embankment, and long afternoons building dens out of whatever scraps you could find. You learned how to negotiate, how to share, how to sort out arguments long before phones or parents stepped in. When the streetlights flickered on, that was your signal to head home, cheeks flushed, clothes battered, and spirit full. It was freedom in its purest form. Point 5. The magic of Blue Peter. Blue Peter wasn't just a television show, it was an institution, a teacher, and a companion. For a child of the 60s, those opening notes of the theme tune were enough to make you rush to the television and settle in for half an hour of excitement. Blue Peter introduced you to the world, from pets in need of adoption to craft projects made out of old cereal boxes and sticky back plastic. The presenters felt like friends, guiding you through challenges, introducing you to new ideas, and inviting you to send in your own creations. The badges became symbols of pride, treasured more dearly than any toy shop prize. Whether you were watching Valerie Singleton explain a make-and-do project or following along with an adventurous expedition, Blue Peter helped shape the creativity, curiosity, and kindness of a generation. It was simple television, but it left a lasting mark. Point 6. Treating sweets like treasure. For a British child growing up in the 60s, sweets weren't an everyday indulgence, they were an event. A trip to the corner shop felt like stepping into a treasure trove, the air thick with the scent of sugar and the rustle of paper bags waiting to be filled. A few pennies could buy an entire afternoon of happiness. You'd carefully choose from blackjacks, fruit salads, sherbet dips, gobstoppers, licorice strips, toffos, or maybe a shiny bar of Cadbury's that felt impossibly luxurious. The shopkeeper knew everyone by name, and there was always a friendly word or a reminder not to spend it all at once. Children walked home with pockets bulging and minds buzzing with excitement. Sweets were shared with friends, saved for later, or savored slowly while sitting on a garden wall watching the world go by. In a time when treats were earned rather than expected, every bite felt special. Point 7. Watching a black and white world come alive. The 60s was the decade when British living rooms transformed. Many children grew up watching television in black and white, adjusting the set's aerial with a well-practiced twist or slap on the side. Programs like The Magic Roundabout, Jackanory, and Thunderbirds became part of daily life, even if the colors were left to your imagination. Families gathered together, the glow of the small screen illuminating the room, creating a sense of closeness that modern on-demand entertainment rarely replicates. And then, for those lucky enough to experience it, came the moment the world turned to color. Suddenly, everything looked brighter, richer, and more alive. The switch felt like magic, proof that the future had arrived. For children of the era, those early televisions weren't just devices. They were windows into possibility. Point 8. The dreaded school dinners. Mention school dinners to anyone who went to school in 60s Britain, and you'll likely get a knowing smile or a grimace. The smell of the dining hall alone could trigger memories: steamed puddings, lumpy mash, overcooked cabbage, and the legendary pink custard. Metal trays clattered, dinner ladies barked instructions, and children negotiated trades like seasoned diplomats. There were favorites, of course: cornflake tart, chocolate sponge, jam roly-poly with custard thick enough to stand a spoon in. But there were also the meals you tried desperately to avoid. Yet, despite the mixed flavors and varying textures, school dinners were a shared experience, uniting every child in silent solidarity. Looking back, even the worst meals hold a strange kind of charm. They were part of the daily rhythm, part of what made school life so distinctly British. Point 9. Saving up for proper toys. In a world without constant advertising and instant purchases, toys in the 60s held a special weight. Whether it was a dinky car, a Hornby train set, a Slinky, or a Chad Valley doll, these weren't toys you expected on a whim. You saved, waited, and dreamed about them for months. Birthdays and Christmases were the big occasions, moments when wrapping paper revealed treasures you'd imagined countless times. Children played for hours with toys that required no batteries, no screens, no instructions, just imagination. Board games were battles of wits, building sets became entire cities, and a simple spinning top could mesmerize you for ages. And when something broke, you didn't throw it away. You fixed it, or someone in the family knew how to. Toys were built to last, and so were the memories. Point 10. The sound of proper British weather. To grow up in Britain in the 60s was to grow up with the weather as a constant companion. Rain tapping on the window while you colored in at the kitchen table, wind rattling the letterbox during stormy nights, and summer days filled with the hum of bees and the distant drone of lawnmowers. Children played outside in drizzle, sunshine, or fog because the weather never stopped you. You walked to school in wellies, carried a soggy raincoat wherever you went, and learned the art of drying your socks by the fire after an unexpected downpour. The seasons felt more defined, the days more in tune with nature's rhythm. Even now, a sudden shower or the smell of damp earth can transport you straight back to childhood. Looking back on the 60s, it becomes clear just how different life was for the children who grew up in that era. There was a simplicity that shaped you, a freedom that taught resilience, and a sense of community woven into every street, school, and garden. The world felt smaller, but somehow richer. People looked out for one another, children played without fear, and families found joy in the quiet moments between the responsibilities of daily life. Modern life offers convenience and comfort, yet something of that old warmth has faded. The slow pace, the personal connections, the feeling that childhood belonged entirely to the children who lived it. If you were one of those lucky enough to experience it, you carry those memories like treasures. What do you remember most about growing up in Britain during that time? Share your memories below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Britain Rewind for more nostalgic British content.